Hey, what's up YouTube? Today's video is going to be about Terence Crawford and the lawsuit. Basically, Terence Crawford is suing Bob Arum for having a preference towards pretty much anyone except African American fighters. I also saw online that that some who was it? Is it Holyfield or who's the other Foreman? One of those guys came out and defended Bob Arum, and Floyd's been advocating for that for some time. And I think I don't know the exact details of why he's avoiding, why Bob Arum is preferring certain fighters over others. If he does prefer Hispanic fighters, it may be because of how much they like boxing, or maybe they draw bigger crowds. They're probably a bigger, he makes more money off of them because they're always partying or drinking. I don't know, but there has to be something tied into that. But more than anything, I don't really know about all of that. I can't say for certain that that's going to be it because I don't have any data to research that. But that was true. Black fighters wouldn't be popular. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with black fighters. I just think it has something to do with. I really think it has to do with just the fighter not being an attraction. I said this in my last videos about how they market themselves. Terence doesn't. He's not overly outspoken. He's not the marketing type. He's kind of listening to everybody throw the race card, and it's making everyone in the world, I think, a little racist because they're putting it on there and Floyd's pushing the subject. And I think that Floyd is the main person that could change all of this. I've said it in past videos where Floyd could have actually passed the torch on to many black fighters that would completely elevate them to complete stardom, but he didn't do that because he's more interested in his record and he's selfish. He could, even to this day, right now, he can come back and fight Terence Crawford. And he could completely elevate him past everyone. I mean, imagine if he fights Terence Crawford. We know Terence Crawford wins right now because of his age. And there's going to be the debate that Floyd's older. But the point is, he's going to be the top dog. It gives him that attraction that he needs to move over. Because people need to either beat Manny Pacquiao or they need to beat Floyd Mayweather. And that's the torch. Floyd fought a... I had my notes, but I forget his name. I always forget his name because I never knew him when I was boxing. It's the guy that fought right before he fought Manny. If he would have fought anyone like Thurman, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, Porter, Amir Khan, not Amir Khan. Amir Khan's somebody that he ducked, but he's not African American. Porter, Tim Bradley, Broner, any of those guys, he would have passed the torch. He could have made one of these African American fighters the next cash cow and main attraction. My favorite fighter out of those was. And he still kind of reigns champion, is Errol Spence. And he's one of my favorite fighters aside from Manny Pacquiao. Terence Crawford, he's grown on me. And I think he's probably the most talented of them all. The problem is he has an amazing talent, but he's always facing his opponent. We already know he's going to win based off of his opponent. We already know that. I will admit, that when they were going to match him up against Manny Pacquiao, I kind of felt like Manny Pacquiao would lose. I was like, oh, that's my guy, man. He's gonna fight against Terence Crawford. I don't like it. But that just goes to show that Terence Crawford is really versatile, and he's really good. And I'm admitting that I thought he was gonna beat my guy. I think he's a bigger guy, and he's a bigger guy than Manny Pacquiao. I don't know. I should have looked up their height. I didn't do that, but I should have looked up their height, because I think Manny's 5'5". I think Terence is 5'8". So he's 3 inches taller than him. And you know, Terence is probably, Manny Pacquiao was if you have to face two guys, Floyd or Manny comes forward, it's gonna be easy to it's not like you have to chase the guy. Floyd runs. He's gonna get on his bike, and he's going to run away from the fight. And it's not that he's elusive, it's that he's going to pick his shots and run the rest of the fight so that you can't score against him. And he just has that star power, so they're going to give him more rounds. But he avoided all of these guys, and he did not want to pass the torch. And now that Canelo is the top star, and Canelo's pulling little cherry picks here and there, the way that Floyd did. Floyd's complaining about it, and he's making America racist, because there could be some type of racist that already exists. Like we constantly think that someone, hey, maybe this person was being racist towards me. We constantly think that, and sometimes it's not true. I've thought that before. Oh man, people are racist towards me. And it turned out not to be true. So we shouldn't jump to conclusions. I wrote on someone's YouTube channel. I think it's called Akai, and I don't know why the post didn't go through, but I said that that would mean that both Errol Spence and Terence Crawford would be racist if that's true. If it's true that black people don't want to fight black fighters, because Errol Spence doesn't want to let Terence Crawford fight him, because, and I did a video about this, because I think because of all the damage with the crash, I don't think he wants to take on Terence Crawford. If he doesn't have to, he can prolong it, he will. And Terence Crawford is also racist in the sense that he wants to avoid Jaron Ennis Boots. And naturally you would go on to think, well, Boots hasn't fought anyone, and that's the same reason why no one fought Terence, because his record was weak and no one would fight him because of his high the eye test. When we saw Terence Crawford fight, we're like, this guy's good, but he's not fighting someone that's gonna validate him, right? The validation wasn't there, but the skills were there, and he got rid of him quickly. So we're like, the guy's good, but we just need to see him in there with someone good. So that scared the hell out of people. What are we seeing with Jaron Ennis Boots? The exact same thing. We know he's a star power. We just got Keith Thurman that came out and said, yeah, we know who he is. The guy's great. He came out on TV after he said he didn't know who he was. He says, yeah, he's good. He's going to get his chance. Just like he talked about Errol. We knew Errol was great. He didn't want anything to do with Errol. No one wants anything to do with Jaron Ennis Boots. So if you're going to complain about people being racist, then that means that you're racist too. And he just wished that he could fight. There was a Mexican or a white guy or someone else that isn't black that he could fight, that could win a championship and make him undisputed. But luckily, for anybody that's trying to say that people are racist, Errol Spence is black, so you can't really say that. If that means that they're racist, that Errol, that's ridiculous. Errol Spence isn't racist. He is not racist. And the main thing you have to remember, guys, it's prize fighting. It's not a sport. Don't get all wrapped up about it. Just pay attention, man. I mean, everyone's exploiting, like these people saying that they're exploiting black people and ruffling up their feathers. It's fucked up. It's what it is. But it's making America more racist, I think. But yeah, back to the subject. Floyd to this day can change all of that, change the narrative by saying one thing. All he has to do, he didn't even have to fight Terence. All he has to do is, man, you know what the truth is? The truth is Terence will whoop me. That's why I ain't gonna fight him. But if we did, I would lose. I just don't want to get hurt. I'm older. He's too proud to say something like that. He could say, that's why I didn't fight Thurman. That's why I didn't fight Errol. He to this day he hasn't said Errol Spence. He says Errol Spence gave me some work. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, even his own staff won't elaborate and say what happened in that sparring session. Errol's one of my favorite fighters, and then you got Terence that's going to most likely have the opportunity of beating one of my favorite fighters that I also favor. It's just timing, man. Terence got held back up, and it's not that people were racist. It's that people knew he was so good. People knew that he was a he went up into the welterweight division, and at the time when he went in there, it wasn't that stacked, and since he just went up, people had the ability to kind of push him off because everyone was trying to chase everyone was going for the lottery being Floyd and Manny. Everybody wanted to get a fight with Floyd and Manny, and that wasn't happening. How did Manny Pacquiao fought African American fighters. He fought Broner. I mean, he fought Broner that did amazing against Manny. Very, very good. Broner did better with Manny Pacquiao than Floyd did with Manny Pacquiao. The reason I say that is because Broner wasn't running the whole fight, and he wasn't clinching the whole fight. He wasn't running and clinching, and he kind of just stood his ground, his composure. He didn't look scared, and that was a close fight. The one with Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd was a joke. It was a joke because Floyd was running the whole fight. I thought they should have called something and said, man, dude, you got to stop running. You got to fight or something, man, because all of that running just killed the whole fight. But yeah, that's pretty much the sum of everything. All of this stuff is just bad timing. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is I have a video out there. And I think the title of the video is Why Terence Crawford Sucks. The reason I wrote that because I don't think Terence Crawford sucks, but I just wanted it to catch headlines and be controversial. But the reason is I was looking at who is it? Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo when he was 36. And Canelo was 22, and I believe Virgil Ennis is 22, and Terence Crawford is 34, which means he's younger than Floyd was and took a bigger risk because Canelo has a higher percentage of knockouts, a KO record, than Virgil Ennis does. And the other reason is because the reason why Terence has an advantage is because Terence himself has a higher KO rating than Floyd did. So what that means is he's blaming Bob Arum for his lack of success. But I guarantee you, no way in hell does he fight Jaron Ennis Boots. And I mean, that just kind of proves. I mean, and the guy's already hasn't fought anyone. So how the hell do you expect for people? People are demanding. This is fighting. They want to see you. You want to fight a guy that's fucking 3 inches tall, 3 inches shorter than you, and Manny Pacquiao. He wanted that fight, but he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to be the short guy in the fight, because I know Jaron Ennis is like close to 6 foot tall or something like that. I think he's like 5'11", or he's pretty tall. He's a big guy. So he doesn't want to be that guy. And actually, I always talk a lot of mess about Floyd, but looking back, he fought Canelo really early, but it was still a risk. It was still a risk for what do you guys think? Because I call Floyd a duck all the time, but I think by fighting Canelo, in a sense, it actually makes him. It's actually better than him fighting the Thurman, Errol Spence, or Terence in a way. I talk shit about him, but the other day I was thinking, man, I think it doesn't matter in a way. It doesn't matter, but in a way it does. In a way it does, because he could either prove that he could beat them, but at the same time, Canelo was slower. Canelo has never been a super fast puncher, and the one thing that he did know is Terence Crawford is quick. He's versatile. He could touch him up, and touching up people gets you the win. He rather would have fought a guy that was a little bit more sluggish but strong, that has KO power in Canelo, and he was younger, than fighting a Thurman. Because the Thurman, he's still pretty damn quick. Errol Spence is pretty damn quick and very strong. Terence Crawford is super versatile and could easily outpoint him. Porter's super tough. Amir Khan super fast, would just make him look ugly and potentially outscore him. Tim Bradley is a little brute in my sense. He's like kind of like a Porter. He's like identical to Porter in a sense. And then Broner, very versatile, very quick. In a way, he kind of thought, look, Canelo's gonna be a bull that I'm gonna slay, but he doesn't have the quickness to beat me points wise, and that's exactly what happened. He wasn't the versatile guy that he is now. Now he's looked at as versatile, and he's got a lot of heavy movement, a lot of defense. He didn't have that before. He wasn't that guy. He was, but not to the level he is now. Listen, guys. And even you got to remember, Floyd did that. Why doesn't if Terence Crawford is such a level above, why doesn't he fight? I did a video about this. Why doesn't he fight? Or I don't know if I've posted it yet, but I did a video about why he doesn't fight Charlo. He needs to do more, because the guys they've already got validated. Like Errol's already validated. He's got a good resume. He's in a tough position. Terence is in a tough position because he's versatile, and people know that about him, and they don't see him as a quick win, and that's gone against him. It's not that he's black, it's that he's freaking good, and people don't want to fight him, because we live in an era where if you lose your zero, you're not marketable. And the same thing that Terence is complaining about is the same reason why he's not going to fight Jaron Ennis Boots. because Terence Crawford needs something to climb up, and he's going for a lawsuit. I'm gonna make a I think I think I'm gonna put on my thumbnail that Terence Crawford career is over, because I think it is. He has nowhere. He's not gonna do anything. He's an amazing fighter, but he's not gonna do anything. He's not gonna do anything special like Floyd did and fight Canelo at a catch weight. He's not gonna fight anybody over the welterweight division at a catch weight. He's not willing to do that. I don't think Errol Spence is going to fight him. I think he's going to avoid him because Errol Spence is hell, he may even pick to fight Virgil Ennis because he's green. He may see him as an easier win than Terence Crawford right now. I don't know. Terence Crawford but Terence Crawford doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do anything risky, I believe. He wants to fight. He wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao because he thought he would win. But then no one wants to fight. The reason no one wants to fight Terence Crawford is because there's no hype around him, and he doesn't draw. I don't think that equates to big numbers. And like I said, if Floyd really wanted to elevate this guy's career, he comes back out of retirement, fights him, or release a sparring session where if you don't want Terence Crawford to actually touch you up and hurt you, I respect that. But go do a sparring session where let him, and I think even a sparring session, whoever gets the best of who, that just build some media around him, help the freaking guy out instead of talking shit about racism. Go in the freaking ring, go to one of those sparring till you die things like you did with Errol Spence, and get him in the ring, boost him up like that with headgear and well protected so you won't get hurt, Floyd. But don't go out there and just rile everyone up and say everyone's racist, man. Help the guy out, dude. Stop being a punk. But that tells you why there really isn't any racism, and why Terence Crawford is picking the race card, because he doesn't want to. He's not even at Floyd's level in terms of fighting higher opposition bulls. He wants to fight in welterweight, and that's it. He doesn't want to fight anyone else. He's not gonna go. He's not gonna give Virgil Ennis, even though he has all of this hype because he's badass, so he can fight him, and he could be the guy with the big balls right now, because no one's gonna give Virgil Ennis but he's equivalent to he's got the hype that Canelo had, except that Canelo had more legitimate fights, or maybe not. I don't think he does. I don't think he has the resume Canelo did when he fought when Floyd fought Canelo, but he's definitely got the skill, dude. He's definitely got the skill. And do what Floyd didn't do. Do what Floyd didn't do. Fight the bull, but slaughter him, beat him, and I think that rejuvenates his career, because no one's trying to fight Virgil Ennis, man. And I think if Virgil Ennis loses that fight, dude, he's so early in his career. So look at what Canelo had. What happened to Canelo? Canelo's had an amazing career after the loss to Floyd, which I think was a decision. It wasn't a knockout. I mean, Floyd went and outpointed him. But what do you guys think, man? Please leave comments down below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.